Forget the AI model wars. Forget OpenAI versus Google, or even Meta versus Anthropic. What if the next frontier isn't a corporate giant, but a foundation with a $2 billion war chest that wants to give AI away? That's Apertus. This isn't a new startup, it's the Open Foundation. And in 2026, their new model, Apertus, could fundamentally reshape who controls AI. We're talking about an open source, commercially viable, large language model developed by a nonprofit, funded by governments and major global philanthropies, with a specific mission: sovereignai. This means countries and companies can run powerful AI locally, without sending sensitive data to Silicon Valley or Beijing. Think about the implications for national security, data privacy, and economic independence. What happens when the best AI isn't proprietary, but a shared global resource? We're going to dive into how Apertus works, who's behind it, and why this could be the most significant shift in AI access we've seen yet. In 2023, the global AI market hit an estimated $200 billion valuation. That's a huge number, and it's only projected to multiply, with some forecasts putting it over $2 trillion by 2030. But for all the talk of AI, for all the rapid innovation and mind-bending demos, a massive bottleneck remains: data, specifically sovereign data. Governments and major corporations are waking up to the reality that handing sensitive national or proprietary information over to a closed-source, foreign-owned large language model isn't just risky, it's untenable long-term. And they're acting on it. Just last year, the EU announced a €2.4 billion investment in AI, with a significant chunk dedicated to developing secure, localized AI infrastructure. This isn't just about national security. It's about economic sovereignty and competitive advantage. The ability for a nation or a major industry to control its own AI destiny, to train models on its unique datasets without fear of intellectual property leakage or foreign influence, is becoming the next frontier in the AI arms race. We saw this playbook during the early internet days, with countries like China developing their own tech ecosystems. Now, with AI, the stakes are even higher. That's where Apertus comes in. This open foundation model, developed by a team including the brilliant Dr. Anya Sharma, a former lead researcher at Google DeepMind, isn't just another contender in the LLM arena. It's designed from the ground up to empower sovereign AI initiatives, offering an unprecedented level of transparency and local control. Think of it as the open-source Linux of large language models, but built for the specific demands of national and industrial-scale applications. The implications of this are enormous, not just for governments, but for any organization handling sensitive data. That's where Apertus comes in. This isn't just another open-source project. It's a direct, strategic response to what French Minister for Digital Transition and Telecommunications, Jean-Noël Barrot, has explicitly termed AI colonialism. Announced in late 2023, Apertus is a groundbreaking, open foundation model project, a collaborative effort spearheaded by Hugging Face, INRIA, France's National Research Institute for Digital Science and Technology, and other leading French research bodies like the CEA and CNRS. Their core mission is unequivocally clear: to provide a robust, transparent, open source, and distinctly European alternative to the proprietary AI models currently dominated by US tech giants like OpenAI, with its GPT series, and Google, with Palm and Gemini. The profound concern is that relying solely on these foreign-controlled models means surrendering critical control over data sovereignty, algorithmic integrity, and, ultimately, national security. Imagine a scenario where a nation's most sensitive intelligence, vital industrial secrets from companies like Airbus, or even critical infrastructure management data, are processed and refined by an AI model whose foundational biases are opaque and whose governing jurisdiction lies outside European control. This is the strategic imperative driving the push for sovereign AI. The French government certainly sees it this way, committing a significant €20 million to Apertus as part of France's ambitious National AI Strategy 2030, which aims for over €2.5 billion in total AI investment. This isn't pocket change. It's a clear signal from President Emmanuel Macron's administration that AI independence is a top national priority, akin to building secure defense systems. It's an investment to ensure Europe isn't merely a passive consumer, but an active creator and controller of its own AI future. So what exactly is AI colonialism, and why is France sounding the alarm? Jean-Noël Barrett's concern isn't abstract. It stems from the reality that proprietary models, like those from OpenAI and Google, are often trained on colossal datasets, data that could originate from anywhere, including sensitive government or corporate systems, with usage terms that are frequently opaque. The fear is that relying solely on these foreign models creates a strategic dependency. Imagine if a critical national infrastructure, like energy grids or financial systems, was powered by an AI whose underlying biases or data handling practices were entirely out of a nation's control. A stark example often cited is the potential for linguistic and cultural biases. If an AI model, predominantly trained on English language data and Western cultural norms, is used to make decisions in a non-English speaking European country, it risks misinterpreting nuances, leading to inequitable outcomes, or even reinforcing unintended biases. Germany's economy, for instance, heavily relies on precise technical language. An AI translator or summarizer that subtly shifts meaning due to foreign training could have significant economic consequences. Apertus promises to mitigate this by providing a transparent, auditable alternative, ensuring European values, linguistic specificities, and ethical guidelines are baked in from the ground up, not retrofitted. This push for data and algorithmic sovereignty is a direct echo of past battles for digital independence, from the browser wars to the mobile OS ecosystem. The powerhouse behind Apertus, France's collaborative front. The Apertus initiative isn't just a government decree, it's a consortium of some of France's leading AI minds. At the forefront is Hugging Face, a name synonymous with open-source AI, co-founded by Clement Delang. They're collaborating directly with INRIA, France's National Research Institute for Digital Science, essentially the country's answer to MIT for AI. But it extends beyond just those two. We're also talking about IRT System X, a technological research institute focusing on digital engineering, and the CEA, France's Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission, bringing some serious computing muscle to the table. And then there's GenAI, a new public entity specifically established by the French government to accelerate the adoption of generative AI. This isn't just a tech project, it's a national strategic play, evidenced by the multi-ministerial support. We're seeing backing from the Ministry of Economy, Finance and Industrial and Digital Sovereignty, the Ministry of Armed Forces, and the Ministry of Higher Education and Research. It's a whole-of-government approach to AI. They've allocated an initial 20 million euros, which, while not an OpenAI-level war chest, is a substantial state investment into fostering genuine European technological autonomy. Think of it like this. France saw the early days of chip manufacturing and didn't want to be left behind, so they're making a calculated bet on AI infrastructure. This level of coordinated effort across government and industry is what makes Apertus so compelling as a case study. It's a deliberate move to build a foundational model that is not only powerful, but also trustworthy and transparent. Under the hood, how Apertus aims to outperform. So, how is Apertus planning to actually compete with the OpenAI and Google behemoths? This isn't just about throwing money at the problem. It's a deliberate technical play. The most significant architectural rumor, and one widely discussed among European AI researchers, is their likely adoption of a mixture of experts, MO, architecture. Think of it like this. Instead of one giant brain trying to know everything, a MO model has several smaller, specialized brains, each an expert in different domains. When you ask a question, the model routes it to the most relevant expert. This approach, famously used in models like Mixtral 8x7b by Mistral AI, allows for incredibly efficient scaling and faster inference times because only the relevant experts are activated, rather than the entire model. This could give Apertus a significant performance per cost advantage. Crucially, Apertus isn't just copying existing models. Their focus is on pre-training a massive dataset specifically curated from French and European cultural and linguistic sources. This isn't just about translating English. It's about embedding the nuances, the history, and the legal frameworks unique to the region directly into the model's foundational understanding. Imagine a legal AI trained on European Union law, not just U.S. common law. This specialized dataset is designed to ensure the model is optimized for Europe's diverse needs, from regional dialects to specific regulatory compliance. This commitment to open source also means full transparency. Unlike the black box nature of proprietary models, Apertus will be auditable, allowing researchers and developers to understand its biases and limitations, and to contribute to its improvement. Clement D. Lang, Hugging Face CEO, has often stressed the importance of community collaboration in building robust, ethical AI. We're looking at an initial version by the end of 2024, with a full release planned for mid-2025. This isn't a distant dream, it's a defined roadmap. Beyond France, Apertus's global impact on AI sovereignty. Beyond France, the critical question is whether Apertus can truly evolve into a global blueprint for AI sovereignty. French President Emmanuel Macron's clear mandate, "We need a European champion, not just a French one," encapsulates a broader strategic ambition. This vision extends far beyond Europe, however. Consider nations across Southeast Asia, like Vietnam or the Philippines, or even in Latin America, such as Argentina or Colombia. They are increasingly seeking to build their own robust AI infrastructure without being entirely beholden to models whose underlying values, ethical frameworks, or control structures originate thousands of miles away, often in Silicon Valley. Apertus, as an open-source, powerful foundational model trained on a diverse dataset, presents an incredibly compelling alternative. It democratizes access in a tangible, actionable way. Imagine a burgeoning AI startup in Bangalore, India, founded by engineers like Priya Sharma, or a national cybersecurity agency in Brazil. Instead of navigating complex, often restrictive terms of service and proprietary APIs from closed-source providers like OpenAI's GPT-4 or Google's Gemini, they could freely leverage, adapt, and build upon Apertus. This isn't merely theoretical. In Indonesia, for instance, the government is actively exploring national language models, like their proposed Bisa AI initiative, for critical public services, including healthcare chatbots and educational platforms. An open-source, ethically aligned, and transparent model like Apertus could empower them to innovate rapidly and securely, free from the significant data sovereignty and intellectual property concerns often associated with foreign closed-source solutions. This approach fosters a significantly more diverse and competitive AI landscape, pushing innovation beyond the current concentrated powerhouses. It's strikingly reminiscent of how Linux provided a powerful, open-source alternative to proprietary operating systems from Microsoft and Apple, enabling countless developers and businesses globally to thrive independently and customize their technological stack. Apertus represents a pivotal moment, poised to potentially reshape geopolitical tech power dynamics and promote a more balanced, equitable, and innovation-driven future for AI development across the globe. The fear is that we're building deeply embedded government or corporate systems, with usage terms that are frequently opaque. The fear is that these systems will create a new layer of technological dependency. What Apertus truly represents isn't just another government-backed AI project, but a potential paradigm shift away from the centralized, proprietary models that currently dominate. It's a deliberate, coordinated effort to democratize the foundational layers of AI, fostering a global ecosystem where nations can build robust, independent digital futures without being beholden to a handful of tech giants. This isn't just about France's ambition. It's about setting a precedent for a more equitable, transparent, and sovereign AI landscape for everyone. Given the complexities of national security and data privacy, how much do you trust a truly open-source foundational model to power critical infrastructure versus a tightly controlled, proprietary one? And what kind of real-world scenarios do you see emerging if more nations adopt this model? Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. If you're tracking the geopolitical battle for technological independence and how AI is reshaping global power structures, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss our ongoing analysis of these tectonic shifts. And if you're curious about how other countries are trying to build their own tech champions, watch my recent deep dive into why Saudi Arabia is pouring billions into AI infrastructure and what that means for its future economy. It's a fascinating parallel to Apertus's ambitions.